Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair. And this time, well, it's actually been a while since I have made a video, but I've been busy with other things, and in that way I also get the corona. But now I'm fine. So I'm looking forward to actually make this video, which has been on my list for a while. So let's jump into it. It's the Pre-Ai Nikkor 50mm, and it's Aperture 2, which is this old lens, which is actually has many years in life, and it's actually working pretty good. The focus is fine, but I think the lens element, this lens element is, let's say, well, if you look here, it looks, yeah, there is some dust on some of the lens element, but if we look through a torch, you will see there's actually a lot of dirt in here, which we cannot really see if we pointed a torch to it, just straight on it from the front. You will not really see much, but you will get a much better result if you set the light from behind the lens. Oh, we turn it, it doesn't really matter, but there is really a lot of dirt on those lens element. So yeah, I think it will be good. Hopefully we need some tools, at least some rubber tools of different size and shape, and I also made me a special homemade tool out of a let's say a gasket like this, and I simply took a piece of plywood, and so it fits really tight, and it has the tool I actually made it for. It was to unscrew the shaped front ring, not the where you can see where the rubber is, but the next, I mean the front lens here. It's better to maybe point it out here. See this ring here, which is actually sitting in front of the focusing ring itself. And how can you actually get a tool that fits perfect? I mean, those gray one will not fit. I mean, they are too, the shape is not the correct one, so that's why I simply made the other one. Well, maybe the cones could, but not really. You have to press it on and it will not really fit. So homemade tools is out of a gasket from the plumber section in the hardware store. It's really good, I can tell. Now some screwdrivers, JIS of course, it's a Japanese lens. Some dentist tool can be very handy, different shapes, at least one that can make a mark. I mean, we will make some marks on some of those retaining ring that hold the lens element in place. A scriber like this one, I will make links in the description. A 1.2mm flathead screwdriver we will also need, and of course a lens tools, whatever you have. This is just an old compass which I file and grind the tips, so it will work pretty good, and it works really good. And we will also need some solvent, at least, to go into those old lenses like Nikon or Canon or whatever, Carl Zeiss, Leica R, whatever. They all use those thread lock back then, and some of it are really tight. So by adding some isopropyl alcohol 99% or some nail polish remover, especially with the one with acetone, or you could just use pure acetone like this, it doesn't really matter. It stinks a little. Well, the other does too, but not so much. So, but and of course we need some cleaning solvent for the lens element. So I use the PEG pads, which I like, and it's the non-abrasive wipes, and together with the Eclipse optical cleaning fluid, which is in many cases are really good. If there is fungus on the lens element, you would use hydrogen peroxide 3%, not more. Well, I have tried, and well, 3% is really what does the trick. Now, let's get into it. It starts with the, I mean, we need to take the whole lens assembly with the shutter, I mean, the aperture blades and all that stuff out. But before coming into that, we need to take off that ring. And here is where the trick with the tool, the homemade tool, comes in. You see, the first ring here, up here, you see this? We need to unscrew fully. And we do not need to take off the rubber ring here, the focusing grip. It's not necessary because there's nothing under it in this lens. Some of the other lenses, the variations of maybe a newer one, they probably have a little set screw under here, but it's not here. So by unscrewing it, this ring, well, it can actually sit pretty tight. It was also the case here. So by using some isopropyl alcohol, we will just do some, it doesn't have to be much, just so it will be a little wet, and you simply dip a lot of isopropyl alcohol against the, I mean, around the edge of the, I mean, the gap between the two rings, and we can add a little more, just let it suck in, and it will soften the thread lock which could be there, and in many cases it's actually working pretty good. So we can just hopefully unscrew it, have a good grip on here, and set the lens to near, I mean, infinity, because then the shortest distance from the very front here into the front ring is actually shortest, and in that way the tool here can actually come on, and by have a good grip here and simply hopefully it will come loose. Yeah, it looks like, and see, it's actually sitting here and nice and fine without doing any I mean, damage to the ring. That's it. Now, next thing is we can see here, if we set it to near end 0.45, we will see a little set screw where it is here. So by taking, yeah, I mean, when the lens is set to infinity, you cannot really see it. You have no idea there is a little set screw around here somewhere, but setting the lens to near end, we can actually see the little set screw. Don't remember, I mean, remember, this is not a screw you can just unscrew, so taking out the whole lens assembly. Well, we could, it will make it a little easier. I think I'd take off the mount off too, just in case someone want to do that. And the same thing again, those screws can sit extremely tight. And again, to soften the thread lock in here, we simply need to add a little isopropyl alcohol on top of each screw. So simply dip a drop in here so it will suck into the screw. Oh, so it will soften the thread lock. Doesn't have to be just a drop or so. Of course, since I have been into the lens before, it's not that tight, but it could be different in your case. So off with that, and it just have to sit there a little. So we'll just get it off. You see, before I took it apart, the screws was actually pretty tight. So, but now they are really easy to move, as long as I add some isopropyl alcohol. And take good care of the screws, because if you use a Phillips screwdriver, yeah, in case you do not have a JIS, you could probably damage the screw head or the screwdriver bit, I mean the tip. But with a JIS screwdriver, which actually fits really perfect to those screws, well, that's a tool to use. Now take off the set it to 16 and just pull off the, I mean, it should be possible. It's not real, it's really a simple lens. You see, this goes down to the, you can see the little tap down there is going onto this fork here. You probably wonder how I can see it. Well, I have a monitor in front of me, so I can see what the camera sees. So that's pretty good. So this is a very simple one, and do not even think about take apart this ring here. You see all those tiny things in here? That's actually steel balls. This is a huge ball bearing, and it makes the ring here, the fork connection pin, it makes it really easy to move. So that's why they use it. Well, so that's fine, and there's not really much to do about it. I mean, we could take off the aperture ring, but it's not a problem in here. You just put it on again, and so it should be there. So I just get my fingers with nasty grease on it. Now, next thing is the little set screw in here, and you can see it right here. And be careful, because I found out the set screw in my lens here is not so good. I mean, so be careful. In case they have used some thread lock, well, you could do the trick again by adding a little of isopropyl alcohol to the screw, set screw here. It doesn't have to be a lot, so just let it suck in, and it will do the trick if there is something on. So now I can simply unscrew it, I mean loosen it. There's no idea to fully unscrew it. Can you see where it is? E. Yeah, I mean, the screw head in this lens is not really good. So be careful. So the too small, I mean the notch between, the gap between the two half of the screw head can actually break off. I mean, one of the side can actually pretty easy break off if it's too tight. But I will just let it sit there and be careful. Now, then I can unscrew it, and if it sits too tight, we can just simply use one of those rubber rings, and it fits well in some case over it. And well, you can, if you use a different shape here, which is also a very good gasket from the plumber's section. It can go on here on the front. Maybe it will work. No, it takes off the nameplate. So it's not what I want to do. So I'll just use the other side. And off it came. And take good care of the little set screw in here. So, and now you can see it here. A little one. And we'll just get some space in here. So now, sorry. Here we can see the front of the lens assembly, and the little guide pin here is actually an eccentric, so it can be adjusted a little, and we will just push out the whole lens assembly by pressing from the back here, and simply set the lens to 16. I will show you why. So push it out and simply pull it out of the focusing assembly. So now you can see the aperture ring was set on 16, and there is a reason for that, because in here, this pin here is actually the one that moves the aperture ring, the aperture plate, if it's fully closed at 16. This is a connection. It's actually easier to show it here. You see, this goes on here, and will in that way, if we can do it, let's see if it's the correct one. You can see how it will work, and if we go to here, you can see how it works. So the aperture is set to 16. It will say fully closed. So this pin here is actually connected to this fork here, which again is connected to the aperture ring. And before I put it back in again when I assemble the whole thing, I will simply set a mark here. Well, I already done it, but you can do it too. It will make it easier for you when you assemble it. Just to not get confused of, oh, how should things sit. And this pin here, which is the one that is connected to the mount fork here, should also sit all the way over to that side. And again, set a mark here where we can see it there, and you have something in the middle, or you could just set it on this side over here, just so you know which position it should sit. It will say the same with the other one. Now just to get things clear, it will make it easier when you assemble the whole lens. Now, to get off the lens element, well, there's a front group and there's a back lens group. And before taking it apart, just set a mark here on the back. It will make it easier to just check if things are correct assembled. See here. So by turning it off, well, again, we need some isopropyl alcohol, because the gap, you can see the gap here, this gap here is actually screwed into the Aperture assembly, will need some isopropyl alcohol or nail polish remover. But just let it suck in. Oh, just let it suck in, and it will go into the thread, and in that way make it easier to get off. So by using one of those famous rubber cones here, find a right size that fits. This is too big. You could take this one. Well, it actually looks fine. We could just unscrew it. I know I also have to go to the back here, but just let us get the lens group out. So by turning it here, you can unscrew it. Be careful so not drop it. So that's free. And we can also take the front, which is actually sitting in this ring here. And for that, yeah, again, not this one, is too big. We could make, putting some cones, rubber cones together, will make them stiffer. And in that way you can unscrew this front here. And now it's free, you can just turn it. So, and off it came without any problems. It looks like there hasn't been used a lot of thread lock here, and this, as we can see here, is not really much. Sometimes they used a lot of it, and this is also the case here, especially on the front here. You see, the back of the front lens group is also sitting with a retaining ring, and before taking it apart, just make a mark somewhere. There is a little hole in here which there maybe could be used a set screw, but there isn't any. There was just a lot of thread lock in here, but anyway, set a mark here and a mark here in line, so you will know those parts here will fit where they will sit where they should. Now to the front cone here, also need to take that apart, and for that we will use a I think this one will fit, and then we could use another tool. Well, this one will fit maybe. Off it came. It's just a ring made of aluminium, nothing special, and there was not really much thread lock on this one, but it could be, and in case there was a lot in your lens, it depends on. I'll just show you something. So If there was something, you could simply add a lot of thread lock here, where you could add it. It would help in many cases. Now, to get it off, just unscrew it. Yeah, another ring. This is the very front lens, and we need to take that out. And for that, we will also use some thread lock, because this ring sits actually pretty tight. And that's why I actually use isopropyl alcohol on this. And we can simply add a lot and go all the way around. Maybe you have to add more, depends. But let it set a little. And for that, well, we will just use a lens tool. A compass or whatever you have. This is a lock. You can lock this compass, which is fine, and then have a good grip on it. Yeah, this is really tight. So I guess I will just put it in here and have a much better grip on it. So something like that, and work slowly. And so like this. Oh, sits tight. No, I think it came free. Yeah, it's free. So you can see, even if I have been into the lens before, well, it actually was pretty tight. So sometimes lens elements can be really, you can really work hard on them to get them free. And this cone is number 3. I think I can unscrew it. Yeah, that's fine. So off it comes. But hold on a second. You see, the lens element sits in a this is just the ring, nothing special. You see, the ring, the lens sits in the mount here, kind of. And for that we need to actually set a mark somewhere. Well, I discovered now. Okay, you could, of course, instead of adding thread lock around the when the ring sits in here, you could add a lot of thread lock through the hole here. It would also be a good thing, but well, I just forgot to mention in that. Well, you see, the ring, the lens has to sit correct in the mount here. So I need a lens sucker to actually pull it out, and for that I have an older from a company called Nordson. I'm not sure you can get this one, but it works pretty good for me. So that's fine. You see, you have to set a mark where the lens element sits, and let's take it out, see how it will go. See there? Since I have been into the lens before, I set a small mark on the side, on the edge of the lens element, and it will say it's close to here. And it's a good thing, because I mean, no one will see it. You will not see it on the pictures when you take photos, but it's good, because then you do not have to do any adjustment of the lens when you put things back in. Now let's do some cleaning. At least we have to start somewhere, and I have to find a mount or a stand where the lens element can sit in. And some of those rubber tools are actually pretty good for that. I will just begin with the very front here, and we just need a better stand to put it on, at least so it will not bend over or so. So you can combine those in many different ways, which is really good. So I will start with the very front of the lens. Where can I have light? You can see it's actually pretty dirty. Also on the inside or the back. So let's see how good it will be. Just to put it some on here. Maybe it's a little too big, but let's see. And now we need some lens tissue, I mean wipes. And to make it more economical, I simply cut those 10 times 10 into 4 smaller pieces, which is easier to work with. In my opinion, it works fine. So and I simply just use the Eclipse for that. If there was fungus in this lens, I would use hydrogen peroxide, but let's see how good this will be. Simply add some solvent to it and very lightly turn it in and then out. Oh. Well, it looks like things has changed a lot, so we can just do it again. Which I think will be fine. Very likely just a few turn and then you go all the way out. So, how good is it actually? Well, we saw it before, and at the moment I mean, remember, this is an old lens, so how good it will be, it depends on on what they actually have used back then to clean, or I don't know the background for this lens, but let's see if we can do the other side. Just doing another one. I like this, it's really good stuff. We'll just do it again on the other side and see how good it will be. So, wow. Well, it seems like something had happened. There's some dirt on the front. I mean, it's just some. Let's see if we can do it. There's definitely something on the front which I don't know what it is, but well, yeah, what can we do? There's a mark here. It looks like there is something on the front which is not so good. So hold on a second. Okay, let's. I just found my hydrogen peroxide, 3%, because I would like to see if this surface is actually, there's something on, maybe on the front or the back of the lens. So let's see, just a new small pipe here. Oh gosh. So let's see it how it can go if I use hydrogen peroxide. And there's a brand new bottle, fresh from the Aperture. So off it goes. Well, fine. Now we just have to use a very little amount, just a little splash on the, so that's fine. I would think so. Doesn't have to be wet, I mean way too wet. Let's see. Yeah, it helps in some way, but let's see how good it will go when I do the final cleaning with the Eclipse. So, yeah, different types of stuff. And seems like something had happened, and let's see how good it will. Well, I mean, at least something had happened. Well, there's still something on, but it doesn't really matter. I think it will be fine for now. So the hydrogen peroxide, I mean, there's just a bloody hair. Where do I have a thing I can put my light on? It has definitely helped a lot, as you probably can see. So the river front is actually very good in this case. So I will simply put it back in again. And I have my mark here, and I actually also have a mark here on the lens, and there's something on here. This is all fine. So I can just use my, where it goes here, and carefully put it in. Sits there. So, and there it goes. That's all fine. So I will simply just put in the ring. Where did it go here? So, and just so we know where things should sit. Click. We can just screw it in. And now it sits where it should. So we can just take the back. Just let my flashlight be on. Now next is the back of the, which is, yeah, you can see it loose, but if it wasn't, you can simply dip a lot of isopropyl alcohol in here, and also so you will know to set a mark here. So we can simply unscrew it with a rubber cone here. It can sit pretty tight, so by using one cone here on the back and another one on the front, we will actually be possible. If it sits too tight, you would be able to actually unscrew it in that way. So it's free, and we'll just give it a little so. And how does this lens actually look? Well, there's actually also a lot of dirt in here. Maybe it's just dirt. We don't know yet. It's not so. There's something on it, definitely. And you can see it sits in a mount, and it's a cemented lens. You can also see here, see the two. And we can probably pop it out of the mount, but I think I will just let it sit where it should. And just in case it pops out, I have my mark here. So I will also set the mark here on the edge. Just so I know where it should sit. So now I can clean it. And yeah, we'll just do that. Let's see if it's, I think it's better to do the inside first, and then I can put it on here and then do the front. So, and it fits quite good there. Maybe another one is a better option. Nah. Yeah, I think I will do that. Go with that. And we will just use a corner here. Yeah, let's see how good it will be. I will just mention, I have discovered with using Eclipse on some Nikon lenses, the painting, the black painting here can actually come off. I don't know if it will be the case in this lens, but just be careful. It could be that we should use isopropyl alcohol or lighter fluid. I don't know. I just have one go with this, but let's see how good it will be with this one. Just add a little. Doesn't have to be much. Okay, not bad. You can see here some black stuff. It's actually the paint from the well, it's not bad, but I think I will go continue with the lighter fluid instead of Eclipse. I mean, it's good to have many options in this case. So I will simply go with the lighter fluid. It works in many cases. Maybe you think it's different. Yeah, maybe. And it evaporates very quickly. So there is something on, which is not only for, I think it must be something, maybe it's some very light haze or so. So I will simply use the hydrogen peroxide again and see how good it will be. And since it's a small lens, one can just use a finger in here and out. I think it will help. And then I will use the lighter fluid another go. Maybe if I have a better stand, this is not really the best. Yeah, I think this one will work better. It's good to have more options then. Hey, it can fit here. Okay, yeah, that's fine. You see. So I will just continue with the lighter fluid. Yeah, let's see how it will be. Oh, definitely something happened. There's something, but it's on the other side. So I'll just do the other side and see how good it will be. Yeah, I think it will be fine. Yeah, this one is really okay. But in this case, where did it go? Well, let's see. So, and I think I will just continue with the hydrogen peroxide on the front, just to see how good it will be, and then do the trick with the lighter fluid. And I will do it twice. So, and of course it depends on how good it will be. Wow! Now that was a difference. You can see clearly. What a difference! Now that's just amazing. Just a bloody hair. Now that's amazing how good it could be. So I will just put it back together. Yeah. Sometimes a bloody hair can come in here just when you screw it in. Yeah. I think it's fine for now. And actually this is just a a simple tutorial. I can simply put the lens in again here, and where is it here? Click. There's no idea to tighten it too much. So now, then the back lens group. And for that there is a retaining ring here on the back, on the very back. I think the, let's see how it, well, really dirty. And there is a retaining ring here on the back, which I haven't been into that, because I think, okay, I took it, I mean, I unscrewed this retaining ring just to see how it looks, but so I added a lot of acetone and isopropyl alcohol and so on, but yeah, let's see. It's some time ago. I think it's 2-3 weeks ago I tried. So let's see how good it became loose here. But you can just add a lot. There's no hole on the side, so you just have to go into the edge where the 2 notch is, one on each side, and let it suck in. See, it will simply suck in very easy, and hopefully it will soften the thread lock. Now let's see, I need a little, where did it go? Too big. Oh, this one. See, it fits fine here. It's number 3. And then I can take another one, hopefully another one, maybe this one here. Can it go? Or maybe I should use the other one, number 4 here, and see if I can press it together and hopefully turn it. Yeah, really put a lot of pressure. No. Okay, we will try some pure acetone. Sometimes it simply does the trick. It stinks a little more and you have to add more than you think. So just, I have a exhausting system here, so it will not, and you have to have kind of a window open also when you work with that kind of stuff. And you have to add a lot more than you think. So it evaporates a lot faster than many other solvents or so, but it does the trick if you add a lot. Let it suck in, and it will soften it at some point. And let's see how it will go. Where did it go? Here. This one, maybe. Yeah, not really. Okay, I need another tool. Hold on a second. Now this is an old, it looks like Puck, the rubber for the ice game, but it isn't. It is a old turntable where you press the rubber over the record, and hopefully it will sit more tight. But the rubber is extremely sticky, so maybe, and I just make a little concave in here, so hopefully it will come loose. Yeah, it's free. So by turning it clockwise and counterclockwise, you sometimes can make it come loose, and in this case it actually works. So you can see it's all about friction. So this retaining ring that holds the back lens is actually loose, so that's fine. Aha. And we can just remember to set a mark. Just so we have a kind of a reference where things should sit. Is there any hole in here? No. Well, I set a mark here, so I will simply use that mark again by setting a little mark on the side of the lens element, and we can just use a lens socket to pull it, hopefully pull it out, and it sits here. Remember how it is sitting. The most convex part of the lens element is towards the back, just so you know that. So I'll just set a little mark here. Oh, that's all. That's all we need. And I don't think there is any more lens element in here. No. So how does it look actually? Well, it's not that good, but hopefully it will be better. Let's see if you have something that can fit on it. It looks like. Nah, not good. I'll just put it here, set down. Now, I'll just do the outside first. It will say the convex part of it here towards the back. So let's see if we should I just try with the hydrogen peroxide. I think I will go for that, because it simply works so good. So this lens maybe have been outside somewhere and have a little what do you say haze kind of, and some lighter fluid. I think it works pretty good. So wow. Wow, what a difference. Well, there's something over here I can really see, but it could be on the other side. I think so. There's kind of a fungus or so. Now let's see. Take the other side and let's see how good it will be. And where is this one here? Just using some hydrogen peroxide. This is good stuff. So there's something on. Well, okay, there is something. So, hold on a second. It looks like there is something on the front, I mean the back of the lens, the very back. So I will just continue with the hydrogen peroxide and hopefully it'll be fine enough. And let's see how good it will be with the just need a new with the lighter fluid. So there. Very light pressure on a lens. Don't need to press too much. Wow, that helps. That really helps a lot. Much more than I would think. So I'll just take the other side and say that's all fine for this. Simply just add some lighter fluid. And yeah, it helps. That was just a little drop of hydrogen peroxide, and I think really a bloody hair. Yeah, that's all fine. I'll just put the lens element back in again and say we're done with this, and it's easier to put it on the actual retaining ring and simply lower the mount over it and like this. Oh, come on. So, and we have the mark here, what should be here. Click. And simply turn the retaining ring on again. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to put them on. So Yeah, damn. I just make a mark here. Bloody. Yeah, that's fine. I hope you get the idea of how to actually clean a lens element. Now the inner here, which I also need to because there was also a lot of thread lock on, so it was necessary to add a lot of, well, I actually use acetone in this case, and simply add a lot. But since I have been into it before, it should not be that hard to actually unscrew. You can see it sucks in the edge of where the thread lock sits, so I can hopefully with a rubber tool here put it in here, and by using another rubber cone, hopefully it can be unscrewed. Yeah, 3. If it was a case, you could probably use a lens tool with the 2 notches here to simply unscrew it with a lens tool, compass, whatever name it has. See, where's my mark? Here. And since I have been into it before, I just set a mark in here. No one will ever see it. So I can just pop the lens out, and hopefully it will come out. So just use a very light pressure on it, and it will simply pop into your hand. You see, it's a double lens, and since I have been into it, you see, it's very important to know which direction the lens element goes. It will say, if you put it in this way, you will probably damage into the front here. I don't know, or it will go against the aperture blades. I would think so. But the arrow is actually a good thing to sit to mark, because if it's a cemented lens and you will separate the 2 lens element, could be, I haven't tried yet, so you will know the exact position and the direction it should sit when you put it back in again. That's an important thing when working with lens element. Now let's see how it is actually. Well, it's not, well, it was actually a lot of dirt, dust. So I will get a stand that could sit somewhere. Not this one. Where did it go? Okay, I'll just take this one. That's all fine. And I will make the inside first, because then when I turn it over, I can in better way and safer way do the other end. Just me, my meaning. So I think I will just go for the lighter fluid, which I think works pretty good. And in case it can be a little tricky to actually work with a very convex lens, well, it's good to have a cutting bud to actually move it around. You can see how it will be easier to press down on the lens wipe. Wow, now that really helps a lot. You can see, I mean, there's a lot of dirt on the other lens surface, so I will just put this on here and do the other side. Not bad. So there, and then out. Wow. Well, I always be surprised how when cleaning a lens element, how it will be when it's really dirty, and then you want to clean it, and then you clean it, and then put it back in again and say, wow, that's amazing. So you can just get things out here, and I have my mark here where I should have it, so I can just put the lens element in here where it should sit with the mark, so, and put on the retaining ring, gently screw it in. Doesn't have to be super tight, as long as the lens sits correct. Yeah, you can see sometimes it can be a little problem with working with some lens element, so I think it will be fine for now. I can just tighten it with my compass. So there, and we can also give the back a little go. So there. So as you can see, it's actually working pretty good. So I can just put it back in again. Everything looks fine, in my opinion. And my mark should ended up somewhere here. And that's all fine. So how good is it actually? Well, since it's not a new lens, there are maybe something on the surface somewhere, but again, it's not a new lens. But I think it is actually pretty good for that. It could be a lot worse. So next thing is to do is put it into the focusing mount, and again, remember those marks. This pin has to go all the way over to, you have the guide pin here, so it has to go all the way over to here, and the other pin will also go all the way over to that side. So I can just put it back in again, set the aperture ring to 16, and simply have the guide pin here. I will probably catch the fork in here, So, and then I can actually, yeah, I also want this ring in here, cone. And where's tool here? So tighten it good, and then the front name ring will come on and go a little backward to catch the thread. It should say click somewhere. Click. Then you can screw it in. So it should be at near end. Oh, it should be at near end, and then you can actually see the little set screw, which I can then gently tighten it. It's really not a good screw, but it's better than nothing. So that's all fine. Yeah, don't use too much force on it. And then I can put the mount on. See the little pin here? This little pin is where the little fork goes in here. As you can see here, it simply goes in here somewhere, and we just have to find the correct screw holes, 5 of them, and then I can add the screws. Not tighten them fully, so we will just set in 3 of the screws. And then we can tighten it good. So, and the rest of the 2 screws. So, and now it is also working. Wow, that's a good thing. And the aperture is also fine. So I can just add the front ring here, set the length to infinity, and then add the ring here, turn it counterclockwise to catch the thread. Yep, and screw it in. And with my special rubber tool here, well, you probably can use the biggest of those, but yeah, it's not good. Maybe you can use some other kind of tool from the plumber section. Wow. Now that's pretty good, in my opinion. I mean, if we compare to what it was, it's actually really good. Now that was all for me this time. I'm working on different project at the moment, so there will be more videos sooner. See you, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.